The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today as we take your questions about your life and your money. Merry Christmas, America. We're so glad you're here. Open phones at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Lindsay starts off this hour in Salt Lake City, Utah. Hi, Lindsay. How are you?
Hey, Dave. I'm excited to talk to you.
You too. How can we help?
Okay, so my husband and I are currently in baby step 2. We make $100,000 together. We still have $40,000 left to go on our debt snowball. But I have a question about when we get to baby step 3, how to invest our 15%. So he has a 403B. I have a 401k with a 3% match. And then I have a Roth IRA and a traditional IRA set up. And then he has a traditional IRA.
Wow.
And I guess I just don't know how to, when we get there, how to divvy it up.
Yeah, you've got a lot going on here. And let me make sure I get this clear. Baby step 3 is your 3 to 6 months fully funded emergency fund.
Oh,
Are
yeah,
you talking
correct.
about baby step 4?
Yes, sorry.
Okay. Well, you're dreaming. You're definitely thinking ahead here. So we can talk about what to do when you get there. Are you guys on track to pay this debt off in the coming year?
Yes, so our goal is by this time next year.
Way to go.
Awesome. That's fantastic. And then what does 3 to 6 months of expenses look like for you guys?
It would be about 10 to 12 grand.
Okay. Do you think you might be able to do all of that in the next 12 months?
We may need another 6. So after a year, we'll be debt-free, and then we'll need 6 months to do our emergency fund.
That's awesome. So what we're talking about right now is 18 months from now, when you've got all of this in place, you've got no debt, the fully funded emergency fund, how do we invest this 15% in the best way possible?
Yep.
Okay. Well, it's going to be 15% of your total household income. And tell me again what your options are with his work and your work.
Yeah, so he has a 403B, which, as I understand it, is basically a 401k.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a 401k with a 3% match. I don't think he has a match.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a Roth and a traditional IRA, and then he has a traditional IRA. Because I did what Dave said, and I rolled over all of our old 401ks into our own IRAs with a SmartVestor Pro.
Well, obviously, we're going to do 15% of $100,000 or $15,000 is how we've got to allocate it. And our formula is pretty simple. It's kind of like rock, paper, scissors, except you can only win one way. And so it's match beats Roth beats traditional. So let's allocate the $15,000 down that list until we do whatever. Now, does his 401k, or it's your 401k, right? He's got a 403b.
Correct, yep.
Are either one of those a Roth option?
Yes, I have a Roth option.
On your 401k?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what we'll do is certainly we're going to do the match. So we want to put in the match at this point for 3% up to yours. And what do you make a year?
I make 40.
Okay. And so...
And he makes 60.
Okay. And let's see here. So is that $1,200? Yeah. $1,200 will be your 3% match off of the $15,000. Okay. So match beats Roth. That's the only match we got. So we're going to do that first. Okay. So off of that. So we've got 13.8 we still got to go with. Does that sound right?
Yep.
Okay. And then we're going to do Roth. Anywhere there's Roth that we want to do it. So his 403b does not have a Roth, so we're not going over there. That's traditional. We're going to use your 401k, and we're going to use 2 Roth individual IRAs and see if we can get to 13.8. And by the way, we know we can because 2 Roth IRAs will get you there, more than get you there. So we need $13,800 going into something, and you can use your 401k. Does your 401k have really good mutual fund options?
So I actually just started, so I'm not really sure. And since we're on the debt snowball, I am not investing anything, so not really sure.
Okay. Well, and I'm going to guess and say you can do $6,000 into your Roths, 2 individual Roth IRAs and good growth stock mutual funds with a SmartVestor Pro. Okay? That gets us to $12,000, and so you could put another couple thousand in yours at $1,800, and you'll be to your $15,000. So we'll probably utilize your 401k through the match plus $2,000 a year, and then we'll do a couple of Roth IRAs maxed out with your SmartVestor Pro, and you will have done match beats Roth. We never got to traditional, so we'll do nothing in his 403b, which, by the way, generally speaking, your 401ks will have probably better options than a lot of 403bs will for investing in terms of the quality of the mutual funds.
Oh, okay, interesting. Cool. That is very helpful. Thank you so much.
And, how old are you?
So I just turned 31.
You're going to be a millionaire.
Hope so.
No, you really are. That's what the math says. I mean, you start putting $15,000 a year away in Roth, in mutual funds, you're going to be a millionaire so fast, girl. I'm so proud of you.
And their incomes are only going to go up.
Yeah, that's if they don't get a raise.
Yeah.
Man.
You'd have to be real bad at your job to never get a raise in your entire career. So this bodes well. That's awesome. And I do the full 15 in our Roth 401k here, Dave, because we've got some great options.
And both of you work here.
Yeah.
So you
Me
can
and
both
my
do it.
wife.
Yeah, you can both
It's
do
great.
that. Yeah.
So we're going to be double millionaires.
Yeah.
That's how that works, right?
I'm in. A 2 millionaire, a 3 millionaire.
I like the sound of that.
A 4 millionaire, double, triple, quadruple.
That's awesome.
I'm in.
Well, I love that she's asking this stuff now because a lot of people, they're in debt, but to dream about the future and what could be and what you want to be investing and how much that could turn into, I love that because it only motivates the debt snowball. It only motivates you through baby step 3, which can be a slog.
Exactly. So here's the reason for our order there. It's math. Okay? Match, you get a 100% rate of return before the mutual fund starts doing anything.
Not bad.
You made 100%. Now, you do have to pay taxes on that match when you take it out. But after taxes, you still got a 70% rate of return or an 80% rate of return on your money. Excellent. You can't beat that. Tax-free doesn't beat that. But tax-free beats taxable. So Roth beats traditional. And so in her case, she's got the match, and then she's got tax-free growth on everything else. So their entire account is going to end up being the vast majority of their account, not the entire account because the match isn't, but the vast majority of their account will be in that Roth and covered under the Roth legislation, and so it will all be tax-free.
Amazing. So if it says $2 million in that Roth portion, you get $2 million. That's pretty incredible.
Absolutely.
I like the sound of that.
Well done, well done, well done. Hey guys, that's how it works. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, my co-host today. You follow these steps. We've actually thought about this stuff. We've actually taught it to millions and millions of people, tens of thousands of baby step millionaires out there. I think we can help you. If you want to be wealthy, I think we can help you. As a matter of fact, that was kind of sarcastic. I know we can. This is The Ramsey Show. If you're not using Pure Talk for your wireless, you're paying too much. Pure Talk gives you the same great 5G coverage on the same 5G network as one of the big guys for half the cost. The average family saves over $800 a year. Go to puretalk.com and choose the affordable plan that's right for you. With their 30-day risk-free guarantee, you have nothing to lose. Go to puretalk.com and enter the promo code Ramsey to save 50% off your first month. Camel Ramsey personality is my co-host. Open phones at 888-825-5225. The Fine Print Podcast Season 1 is now available for you to listen to. George is the host of that, and it is absolutely incredible. So far, the number one viewer or listenership has been, Could Bitcoin Be Your Ticket to Wealth? Was that a sarcastic title? But anyway, yeah.
You got to hook them, Dave. You got to hook them with something.
Hook them? Yeah, well, you hooked them because they are definitely listening to that thing. And they're listening to all the episodes. That one's the most popular. I think the Robinhood, how the Robinhood app steals from the rich and the poor.
Yeah.
That particular episode also was number 2, if I remember right.
Yeah, and the true cost of credit card rewards also up there.
That one's real popular, yeah.
A lot of our financial coaches have reached out and said, hey, I've been sending this to my clients to help them understand what's going on behind the credit card rewards. So I love seeing it used as a tool that can help other people go, oh, I can listen to this 25-minute episode and understand the truth behind it. And the truth is, you're not going to get rich. The rewards are always built on something.
My favorite, and it's the best metaphor, and I'm just in such awe because I'm really good at metaphors. And inaccurate metaphors, too. I'm really good at those.
Those are my favorite.
And mixed metaphors. I'm really good at those, too. But your metaphor on the stupid credit card points being like those Chuck E. Cheese tickets you get, and you end up spending $8 bazillion to get a nickel toy eraser, a little monster eraser for your pen.
Sticky Hands was my favorite.
Sticky Hands. Yeah, that's it. You get Sticky Hands. And it costs them, 12.5 cents out of China. And you spent $18 to get the tickets to do that,
and you feel like you've won.
And then you feel like I got Sticky Hands for free, And that's the same stupid thing as the credit card points. Exactly. It's when I was a kid, there was a thing called green stamps.
What was that about?
A green stamp store, and when you went to the grocery store and when you checked out, the grocery store would give you green stamps. And they would print off a little sheet of them. They'd run off, kind of like the tickets at Chuck E. Cheese a little bit, except sometimes they would come more than one wide, right? And then you go home and you paste them into this book, and when you got, 35,000 green stamps or whatever from having shopped at Kroger 35 million times, you could go get
redeem it.
Get like a grill. Or something. I mean, you get like $100 item or something, or a $50 item, but you had by then you had bought enough groceries to feed a small village. But you got to collect the green. It was a gamification.
Yeah.
1950s, 1960s style.
Well, I grew up in the McDonald's Monopoly game era.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember going,
Have you seen the documentary on that?
McMillions. It was incredible.
Yeah.
It was a huge scam behind it.
Big scam on it. And
we should do one on credit card rewards similar to that.
Gamified.
That's what it is.
You get gamified. You get sucked into the gamification, the dopamine hit, and you just keep going back for more.
Yeah.
Just keep going back for more. Just like the first time I ever played Pac-Man in college. It kept eating my quarters.
Sounds like you weren't very good at Pac-Man.
Oh, my gosh. There might have been beer involved. Brandon is in Fort Collins, Colorado. Hi, Brandon. How are you?
Hi, Dave and George. Yeah, I'm doing well. How about you?
Better than we deserve. What's up, man?
Hey, so quick question. My wife and I are debt-free. We're on baby steps 4 through 6. And we're working to save 20% to put down on our first house. I was listening to one of your YouTube segments from a show a few weeks ago, and you mentioned a baby step 3B. I was hoping to find out what you would do if you were in my shoes in this step.
Yeah. So what are we looking at? How long is this going to take to save up for the 20% down payment?
Well, right now, so my wife is stay-at-home mom with our 6-month-old, and we're living on my income, which is $80K a year base. So if we take basically the
No. What's your income?
Yeah, $80K a year base.
What's income. Base mean? You get something above that.
Yeah, I get a bonus, but it's variable and not guaranteed.
I know. How much do you usually get?
On average?
On average, another 10%, so 88.
Okay. Now I got a real picture. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, perfect. So the challenge is that my work has an incredible 401k match, where if I contribute 10% to the Roth 401k, my work will match at 10.5%. So my question kind of is, would the money lost from the company match be worth the house savings if we spend about 2 to 3 years to get that down payment?
You're making a trade. I mean, that's hard to walk away from because that's some pretty sweet match. But so here's what happens, Brandon. The folks do the save for a down payment for a house after baby step 3. Okay? That's why we call it baby step 3B. Now, so then they do it one of 3 different ways. They either do no retirement savings, they do a full 15% in baby step 4 while they save for their down payment, or they do a reduced retirement savings while they save for a down payment. Once they've got their down payment, then they move up to the full 15%. If you're not putting in a full 15%, you're doing a modified or zero retirement, we laughingly or seriously these days call that baby step 3B. So in your case, I would be tempted, of course, I really want you to get a house and you really want to get a house, but I'd be tempted to get that 10.5 match and then save above that for my retirement because that's such a sweet match. I certainly would do something towards getting some of that match.
Okay, so
you could do 5%.
You would recommend not 0?
You could do 5%. You could do 0. It's just hard for me to walk away from that match because, it's sweet money. It's a lot of money there. And but if you want to do 0, the more you move towards 0, the more I would gear up and do something radical around your house, sell some stuff, take an extra job, work some extra hours, whatever, to get that down payment gathered up quick, so I'm not missing that match long.
Okay.
Yeah. And here's the thing, Brandon. Are you investing 15% right now, or are you doing 10?
We're doing 10% through the company and then another 5% through SmartVestor Pro.
Okay. So if you reduced it by that 5%, so you're getting the full match through your job, I mean, the 5% is not going to move the needle in an incredible way for the down payment.
It's $4,000 a year.
Yeah. But if that helps you to get a little closer, is there a sense of urgency around getting this house if it takes 2 years versus 2.5?
Not necessarily. We just we're renting right now and rather not let the money go to the rental market.
Yeah, sure, man. There's not a wrong answer here. It's just a matter of preference. So if you can get back to retirement within 3 years and do 0, that's okay. If you want to do a little and take a little bit longer because you're getting some of that match, that's okay. If you want to keep doing the full 15% and it takes you 4 years to save for your down payment, that's okay. So any of those are none of those are in the stupid column. They're all in the your personal preference column, okay?
Awesome. As long as I stay out of the stupid column, that's all I care about.
That's important. That's my goal every day.
I don't want my face in the stupid column. It's been there so many times in my life. I have done so many things with my face in the stupid column, but there you go.
That's a great question.
It is. It's really.
Because there's a lot of options.
Well, and here's the thing. The beauty of these first couple segments here is we're really getting into the nuance, the detail. But what we found is if you will do 4 or 5 or 6 of these things and not do Ramsey-ish and do them right in the right order, do it the right way, that your probability of winning goes way up. The number of people that don't clean out their non-retirement savings, they hold it over there instead of putting it on their debt in baby step 2. See, that's Ramsey-ish. That one costs you big time. The number of people who continue to go out to eat and continue to go on vacations while they're working baby step 2, Ramsey-ish hurts you big time. Statistically, mathematically, the arithmetic works against you, and the emotions of you're cheating, it's going to take longer. It just you're sabotaging yourself and you know it.
Yeah.
This is The Ramsey Show.
Life is full of firsts. As the first first and longest-serving Christian health cost-sharing ministry, CHM has shared medical expenses for its members since 1981. We believe you should have the freedom to focus on your health while being supported by a community of believers, giving you the opportunity to create many more firsts.
In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, Luke and Leah are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Hey,
Doing good. How are you?
Welcome. Where do you guys live?
Vidalia area.
South
Vidalia?
Georgia.
Down towards Macon. Yeah, cool. Welcome to Nashville.
Thank you.
Good to have you guys. And how much debt have you paid off?
$28,334.
Good for you. How long did that take?
14 months.
Wow. And your range of income during that time?
We started about 65,000, and actually during the pandemic, we both got raises, and right now we're about 75.
Cool. What do you guys do for a living?
I'm a service advisor at a car dealership, like a major car dealership.
And I work at kind of like a liquidation retail outlet mattress place. So
Okay.
kinda, yeah.
Cool. Very cool. So they wanted to keep you around, and because everybody's leaving their jobs and stuff, not coming back to work and all that, so they gave you raises?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
And just kind of took I was a firefighter during the pandemic, and then kind of took a part-time job working actually for my pastor at his mattress outlets and stuff.
Yeah.
And started liking that, enjoyed being around people, and just kind of went to doing that full-time. And when you're making commission, you got a chance to up your income, so.
That works
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Cool. So what kind of debt was the $28,000?
We come in pairs. It was 2 of everything: 2 credit cards, 2 cars,
A little bit of
2
medical debt.
Yeah, a little bit of medical debt, 2 cell phones, no student loans. We were
Okay.
really blessed that neither one of our parents gave us student loans, but we it was just 2 of everything.
Wow. How long y'all been married?
6 years.
Yep.
Okay.
September was 6 years.
Right. Cool.
Wow.
So what happened a little over a year and a half ago?
It's just in 2018 I surprised him with a trip to New York, and we were there for the weekend, and I remember him asking me when we were trying to get on the subway, should we pay credit card or debit card? I said, we'll put it on the credit card, because if we pay it on the debit card, we can't pay our bills when we get home. So I got home and I was like, we probably shouldn't have done that. We probably shouldn't have gone on that trip, because we came back with more of a burden with credit card debt than we did actually
One of those
enjoy.
vacations that follows you home.
Yeah, exactly. We had a great time, but we also paid for it, with credit cards. So we knew we had to do something, because we were getting overdrafted in our bank accounts, and we were like, we
Really,
can't live like this.
the straw that broke the camel's back really was, I remember one day going to get gas, and we both needed gas. Like, we both had like 70 miles to empty or something like that, and there was like $17 left in the bank account. And so, we were like, well,
You get 5, I'll get 5.
exactly. And so that's when I took a part-time job working, just brought a little bit of money. We really didn't up our incomes that much during our debt-free journey. The raises actually came more after we got debt-free back in March.
Okay.
And but we really just buckled down on the budget, like really didn't spend anything. Like it just all went towards the debt.
Okay.
How'd you get connected to us?
We're actually Financial Peace Babies. Actually grew up doing the DVDs at our church. Our families did it, and then got married, and we're listening to you on the radio. But we were debt-free when we got married, but we were like, Dave Ramsey gets people out of debt. We were like,
We're not in
we don't
debt.
have any debt,
We're
so we
good.
were kind of like,
You
we'll
thought
just
we don't
listen.
need this stuff.
Yeah, we don't need it. We'll just
Yeah.
listen. And then, when we both got 2 jobs after Jude was born, we were like, we can afford a car payment. So we got her a new car because we had a baby. A baby can't be in a.
I was working in the car dealership, so it was normal to get a new car.
Sure.
So,
You got to get an SUV when you get a baby, right?
Yeah.
And so
It's
we got
mandatory.
that. Yep.
Federal
Yeah.
law.
Yep. And so that's really what happened. Just kind of started piling stuff on.
And you woke up and you were normal.
That's
Yeah.
right. Bought a house with no down payment, FHA loan.
Everything
So,
wrong.
Yeah.
Wow. Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then we sold the house during the real estate boom we're in right now, and actually made way more than we thought on it. And so
That's
we're
good.
Yeah.
debt free, fully funded emergency fund, and saving for a down payment on our next house.
Cool. Very cool. So you grew up knowing better. You wander off then you snap back.
Yeah.
14 months later, you're done. Will you go back?
No.
Never.
In 2019, I said, okay, something's got to change. So we had decided our 2020 New Year's resolution was we're going to be out of debt. And then whenever March hit, we were like, yeah, we made the right decision with COVID. Thankfully we stayed working and employed and that sort of thing. But I mean, I can't imagine the burden of, close to $30,000 worth of debt plus COVID, just kind of waking up not really knowing what's next and that sort of thing. So, I mean, it just gave us a piece that we really can't explain.
If one of you lost a job during the pandemic, you would have been just screwed.
I mean, we're pretty equal as far as income goes. So, I mean, that would have been half of our income gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's interesting what you said earlier. When you got back to debt, when you realized, we can afford the payments.
Yeah, exactly.
So there was a mindset shift where you went, debt is fine as long as we can afford it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then you wake up and say, we can't afford this.
We can't get gas. So are we really able to afford this?
That's right.
Wow.
Way to go, guys.
Thank
Proud
you.
of you. What do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is?
Everybody on the show always says the budget, and it really was. But for me, the budget means if you're on this journey, stop swiping your debit card. We gave ourselves $20 a week a piece, and when the $20 was gone,
It was gone.
It was gone. And so, that was like a soda or something. So, because I would swap my debit card for a bag of chips and a fountain drink all the time, and so, stop swiping your debit cards and just use cash for everything, and it's amazing how much money you save.
Yeah. That's a big deal.
Yep.
But getting on the same page, agreeing with it, the budget, the
100%.
same stuff people always say.
Budget.
We're already a pretty good team, but then it's actually sitting down to do a budget every single month or every 2 weeks, whatever the case may be, that really kind of brought us back and made us, we got to focus.
So if you're financial peace babies, your parents were doing this stuff, I guess they're cheering you on.
Yeah, they were.
Big time. They're like, oh, good, they woke up.
About time.
Yeah.
I like it. Very good. Okay, cool. And you brought your son.
We did.
Jude. How old is Jude?
He's 5. We've got another one on the way, which
All
we
right.
also attribute to getting out of debt because several things happened with that we had to get out of debt before it was just one of our personal goals we wanted to do before we brought another one in. So
There you go. Good why.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good why. Way to go.
Absolutely.
Fun stuff. We got a copy of the new book, Baby Steps Millionaires, for you. That is an early release for you guys only. The book actually comes out January the 11th, and it's all about how ordinary people built extraordinary wealth, how you can too, and you're obviously going to be Baby Steps millionaires now.
Yes,
Not
sir.
only financial peace babies, but Baby Step millionaires. There we go.
right.
That's the good stuff. And we'll give you a copy of the Total Money Makeover so you can give it away at Christmas. Find somebody that needs that wake-up call. They got $17 left and 2 empty gas tanks. And these days, when you filled that gas tank up with $5, you actually got a few gallons.
Yeah.
Right now, you get a gallon.
I don't envy y'all's gas prices up here. They're a little cheaper down in South Georgia.
Not that much. But
No, not that much.
Everything's gone way up. But thankfully, we're at war with the gasoline car now in America. So, oh my gosh, congratulations, you guys. Very, very, very well done. Luke and Leah and Jude from Macon, Georgia. $28,000 paid off in 14 months, making $65,000 to $75,000 a year. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1.
We're debt-free! Yeah! That's how it's done. I love it.
Jude felt that one. He felt it in his spirit. Little guy's got some pipes.
Very cool. Good stuff.
Wow.
Very, very well done. I was sitting here thinking, him talking about swiping that debit card made me think. I remember, when I started teaching this stuff, they didn't accept credit cards or debit cards in a grocery store or in fast food.
Wow.
It was like taboo.
You had to have cash or check.
You had to have cash or check. We would go in and write out a check when I started teaching this 30 years ago, and that was normal. And there were no pay at the pumps. You had to walk into the store,
give them cash,
and pay. And that way you had the long walk into the store and the long walk out to realize you just paid $5 a gallon. Oh my God, I just left a bunch of money in that little store, And so that started changing things. And then, further disgusting, once they did start taking them, I'm standing in line at the stinking store to pay for my gasoline with cash, and this guy buys a pack of gum and swipes a card. Now, that's done every day now.
Yeah.
That's the first time I'd ever seen anybody spend
Blew your mind.
$1 on a credit card. $1 $1. This is the Ramsey Show. Welcome to the Ramsey Show, boys and girls. We're glad you're with us. Open phones at 888-825-5225. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. On the 22nd of this month, we will do our last live show. The other shows for the remainder of the year will be taped best ofs because we go on vacation for Christmas, just like you do. And I will be back at the first of the year, January the 2nd, with live shows. But in the meantime, December the 22nd will be our last day. And we do our famous Ramsey Giving Show that day. 3 hours of stories of generosity. Because this is why we get out of debt, so that we can be generous. We build wealth so that we can be generous. The most fun you'll ever have with money is generosity. And so giving stories, I need you to join us for the Giving Show and tell your story about some time that you were on the receiving or the giving end of generosity. Go to RamseySolutions.com/ask. Put giving in the subject line, RamseySolutions.com/ask. Put giving in the subject line, and you will, if you left $30 or $20 as a tip, that doesn't count. That's not what I'm talking about. Make me cry. Make the listeners remember the story of, so they're inspired to generosity. That's the stories I want, whether it's the receiving or the giving end. And if you're on the giving end and you don't think you want to talk about it, well, it wasn't you that gave it anyway. God just used you to give it, so shut up and tell us your story. So go to RamseySolutions.com/ask. Put giving in the subject line. George, on January the 13th here in Nashville, we are doing a live event.
I'm pumped. This is going to be a good one.
I'm excited.
Not only because I'm a part of it, but also because of the content.
You, me, Rachel will be together here in Nashville. We've got about 1,000 tickets. They're almost sold out already. We announced the launch of the sale yesterday. Tickets are only $15. We're going to bust this thing out. I have about 1,000 folks, and it is all about wealth building in 2022. How do you really build wealth in 2022? Because there's a lot of people out there that are doing it the wrong way, and they're going to get burned. And there's a lot of people out there that want to know what the right way is. And so, if you type into your search bar building wealth, you could get rich quick schemes and scams, or you could get real advice. If you come to this, you'll get real advice. And we'll warn you about how to identify a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a one-night special event. Discover the money plan that will cause you to be a Baby Steps millionaire. Rachel Cruz, George Camel, me, how to build wealth in 2022. January the 13th here in Nashville. If you want to come, get your tickets right now. They make great stocking stuffers. They're only $15. And again, they're almost all gone. So go ahead and get this done now. RamseySolutions.com/events. RamseySolutions.com/events. The wealth building event, January the 13th for 2022. Ben's with us in Denver. Hi, Ben. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Dave and George, thank you for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
Hey, when I started our snowball 3 years ago, the total was $960,000.
Wow.
Talk about taking your breath away.
Yeah.
The biggest piece of that is a commercial mortgage on a property. Our family business is the tenant. Our goal in the next few years is to sell or close the business and sell the real estate. It's not a piece of property I want to own long term. We currently owe $540 on it. The property isn't listed, but I just received what I think is an above market offer of $1.5 million. And that's direct from a buyer investor, so there's no broker commissions involved in that.
Wow.
His motivation is he just sold a property. He's looking for a 1031 exchange and a 5-year lease to go with that. And our business can't afford the lease payment. So I have a two-part question. Is going from a mortgage to a lease a reasonable thing to do? I feel it's a strong offer, and it really kind of gives us a set, clean exit strategy for both the business and the real estate.
So
and
when
if
were you
say yes
sunsetting
on
the business?
What's that?
Are you sunsetting the business outside of 5 years?
Yeah. It's we own our jobs is what we do. It's not a it's not a.
But you're willing to run it for 5 more years?
Yes.
Were you planning to anyway?
No. Well, we don't have a choice because I have that mortgage to pay. So
well, you do have a choice. If you sell the real estate without having to sign a lease, you can just close the business whenever.
Right.
If somebody just wrote you a check and didn't require a lease back,
Yep.
When would you close the business?
Probably in a couple of years.
Okay.
A couple of years. I guess what I'm interested about is I feel like the market is about 1.2 for this property based on some comparables, and so I feel like this is a strong offer. I guess where I'm getting hung up on, I'm leaning towards going towards the lease, but then writing a check if I just cash out and don't do a 1031 exchange, I got to write a check to the Fed for $250,000. That kind of hangs me up. But on the flip side of that, I can see the finish line on this debt snowball, and to be debt free would just be phenomenal. This $950 has weighed on me.
How much is the lease a year?
He was asking for a 6% cap rate, and we negotiated that down to a 5%.
And that comes out to how much money without me having to run my calculator?
$8,000
a month.
I think. Yeah. No. Yeah.
A month. So $100,000 a year.
Yep.
Okay. So 3 years is $300,000, and you're staying open 3 years longer than you wanted to, and you only got a $300,000 premium. This is no deal.
Okay. I guess when I say we'd have to stay open just to cover the mortgage, we couldn't.
You'd have to stay open to cover the lease.
Okay.
Or you had to write him a check. Okay, let's say that you ran the business 2 years longer, which is kind of what your plan was. You wrote him a check for $300,000 for the 3 years that you're not there, and you closed the business. Now you got 1.2 for the property.
Yep. Okay.
So, how hard is this building to lease?
Well, it has some unique issues in it that I don't want to own it long term.
No, I'm asking why he can't lease it to somebody else other than you.
It's a big facility, and our business.
You negotiated a what cap rate?
5%.
Okay.
Our business works well in it. I don't know if there's
why don't you give him a little bigger cap rate and make it a 3-year deal?
I got you. Okay.
So you can get out of Dodge and not cost you $300,000. I'd give him an extra 100, but I'm not giving him all the, because you told me the thing's worth 1.2. He's giving you a premium of 1.5, but it's not a premium if you're stuck on the hook for $300,000 that you wouldn't have paid otherwise. You following me?
Yep.
So I'll do 1.5 at a higher cap rate with a 3-year lease and stay open 3 years and be comfortable with that. Then you're not really having to write a check. You continue to run the business, and you run it on out. That gives him time to set up his second tenant without being stuck with this thing, and then you can roll it to a 1031. Can you not?
I could, or do I just clear the deck and be done with the debt?
You don't have to have debt to do a 1031.
Okay.
You just have to roll. You have to roll your not your equity, but you have to roll your basis. Your gain is what has to be rolled.
Yep. Okay.
So you could do that to a smaller property, debt free. Now it does have to be an investment property. It can't be your residential it can't be your residence.
Okay.
It's income producing to income producing is like kind.
Yep.
So holler at a tax advisor in your area, a tax attorney, or a title company that does 1031s, and find out what the details is of you doing a 1031. That'd be nice. I'm willing to pay the taxes to be out of Dodge. I'm not willing to pay the taxes and be on the lease 3 years longer than I wanted to be. So there's too many different concessions you're making here. But you do have a bit of a white elephant of a building, it sounds like. A good thing to get out of. So, if you can do a 3-year with a higher cap rate, and a better cap rate to him, and instead of a 5-year, and especially if you could do a 1031 down into a smaller building and figure out what your adjusted basis is and what your actual gain is with your tax person, and then get some advice on what that sets you up for, and get with a title company that does a 1031. So a 1031 tax deferred exchange, folks, is a trade. He could sell that property into a 1031, buy another property out of that, and it is treated under tax law as if it is a trade, and that's why we're talking about doing this.
That was like an MBA, Dave. Thank you for that. I learned a lot.
A lot going on there. This is the Ramsey Show.
This is James Childs, producer of The Ramsey Show. You can listen to all our shows with the Ramsey Network app on your smartphone. Browse by topic or even sync clips to your friends. Download the Ramsey Network app in your favorite app store today.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where dad is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Angie in San Francisco starts off this hour. Hi, Angie. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi. Thanks for taking my call. Can you hear me okay?
Absolutely. What's up?
Perfect. Okay. I really appreciate you taking my call. I've been listening to you for about the last year, and so I have a question for you, Dave. My husband and I are both 47 years old. We have no debt other than our house, which will be paid off next year. But we got a really late start in life as far as just even making any money. So we have been saving 15% into our retirement since we found you. So my question is, I'm wondering, I hear you say all the time to people that are younger, like, oh gosh, you're going to have so much money, once your house is paid off. I'm just wondering if that's going to be true for us at our age. If I can just tell you what we have saved so far in retirement.
Okay.
We have $28,000 in the emergency fund, and that's just socked away. I have $80,000 in a traditional IRA that was from it was a job, 401k, and I just took it, like you said, take it at my new job, a Roth per in an account. And I have started at my new job a Roth per your instructions. I've learned so much from you just in the last year. I feel like I'm almost an expert. And I have $12,000 in the Roth. My husband has $90K in his retirement. And so what I'm wondering is, when our house is paid off next year and we can start maxing out, how you always say it doubles and all that, but is that really going to happen? It's just hard to picture. I've done all these retirement calculators, and it's saying that we need 2.1 million or 2.7 million to retire, and it just seems like such a big number. Can you help walk me through the numbers again?
Okay. How old are you?
47. We're both 47.
Okay. Good. Okay. You're going to be fine. What's your household income?
It's about $200K.
Okay. All right.
And
so you're going to be saving $30,000 a year until your house is paid for, and once it's paid for, then you'll be maxing out everything and saving even more than that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah. And if you say 15 years of doing that, 17 years of doing that, you're going to be just fine. That's a lot of money. Now, here's the thing about retirement calculators. The thing you don't know with that is what set of assumptions the calculator you're using is, unless they're stated on the calculator. Okay.
Right.
So there's a couple of factors that you need. Some of them automatically build in an inflation rate. Okay. What I personally do when I'm looking at my personal wealth and growth, and I also recommend it for others, is I'm just going to save money and build wealth. And so I'm just calculating, if I make 10% on my money, this is how much I'm going to have. If I make 11%, 12% on my money in mutual funds, this is what I'm going to have. Okay? And if the real estate does the same, that I own does the same, then my net worth will be on this trend line. Okay? And so if I just put in your case, I put in $2,500 a month, $30,000 a year, and I do that for 15 years, and I put that in the calculator, and I just put that in at what you think you're going to make in your mutual funds, what the historic data tells you on that. I've been able to average up around 12% on mine. Now, that causes the internet to melt down, apparently, but I've been able to personally do that. So that's what I personally do, okay? The stock market has averaged 11% since it began, okay? That's the average. And so that's the thing you want to do. But
yeah, maybe it's just hard to see because we're just getting started and it's just crawling along. But I guess
but this year the market's up over 20%. Last year the market was up over 20%. Oh, the year before it was up over 20%. Next year it will not be. It's very unusual to have 3 consecutive 20% years in the market. That's not realistic. But that's the actual facts of what has happened. The Dow's sitting at 36,000 today. Okay, so you're fine in terms of rates of return, and just put that in. And then I say, okay, based on that, I'm going to have $2 million, whatever it is. Okay, then you say, okay, what inflation rate do I want to use to say not how much money I have at that time or its purchasing power? I'm just going to say, I'm 61 now. When I'm 81, I'll have X number of $1 million. Okay. Then I say, all right, based on that, when I'm 81, how much money do I think I want to live on a year? Well, if I can make 12% on my money, as an example, you can use whatever example you want to do. This is the one I personally use. The Consumer Price Index for 77 years has the measure of inflation, including the Carter years in the 70s when we had unbelievable double-digit inflation for multiple years in a row. Including that time, the average Consumer Price Index for 77 years is 4.2%. So I use 4%. So if I make 12 on my money and I leave 4 in there if I want to live off of the money, okay, I let it grow at 4% a year. It's breaking even on its purchasing power after I retire. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's what I never understood until I started listening to you about like the net.
And so if you had $1 million and it grows to $1,040,000 the next year, then that would purchase about what $1 million would have the year before. Okay. So your principal is giving you a cost of living raise every year. But that's all it's doing. So I'm going to pull off the other 8% and live on it. So if I've got $1 million and I leave 4% in there and I'm making 12 and I pull off 8, you see what I did? I didn't touch the principal. If I pull off 8% of $1 million, that's $80,000 a year. Okay, and so if you want to live on $200,000 a year, at that time, then you're going to need $2 million.
I see.
To do that.
And we only started making this recently. I made minimum wage up until 5 years ago, my entire life. So. And
here's the other thing about investment calculator. Yeah. Here's the other thing about all the calculations you do and I do for 20 years from today. None of them are going to turn out the way we calculated it.
Right.
None of them. Because one of the things you're assuming is I'm putting in this steady amount of money, and you're going to put in more than that on average because now you're an investor, not a debtor. Okay. The other thing that's going to happen is inflation is not going to do exactly what we said, and rates of return are not going to do exactly what they said. And so it turns out differently. And so typically, in our experience in 30 years of working with people, is they actually end up a lot wealthier than their calculator told them they were going to be, because they actually are freaking paying attention now. And so that's where they end up, George.
Yeah, it's incredible. I love using the investing calculator and start dreaming.
Yeah, but some of these investment calculators got you down where you're trying to live off 3% because they're trying to figure out real rates of return post-tax and all this other stuff, and too many sets of assumptions in there. If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular, and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com. If you've been paying attention to the real estate markets, you've noticed competition out there is crazy. Inventory shortages, unbelievable prices, people lining up for multiple offers on everything. This is not amateur hour. You do not want to be buying or selling a house on your own trying to figure this crap out in this wild market. You need a pro to guide you through. And I don't mean somebody just got the real estate license because they're excited. I mean a pro, somebody that sells lots and lots and lots of houses. And that's why we find and vet and endorse only top real estate agents all across the country. We call them endorsed local providers, or ELPs. Our ELPs are Ramsey trusted, meaning they have years of industry success and a track record of helping people crush their goals no matter how tough the competition is. Go to RamseySolutions.com/agent and find a trusted real estate agent for helping you sell your house or buy your next one. RamseySolutions.com/agent. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. They have a satisfaction guarantee. That means even if you mismeasure, you pick the wrong color, they'll remake your blinds for free. Free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run every month, you'll save even more. Use the promo code Ramsey to get the best possible deal.
Today's question comes from Jim in Arizona. Due to a recent divorce, my credit was ruined and retirement wiped out. I've been able to start restoring my score, currently at 640. I want to get my credit back up to over 700 so I can buy another home. I have $3,000 in debt on a vehicle payment, and I'm paying off medical debt now under $2,000. I want to do the baby steps, but I need the debt to rebuild credit to buy a new home. Where do I start?
Well, George, you would be homeless.
Yeah, 100%. This is a very interesting
scenario. I'm glad
scenario.
You're not homeless, George.
Me too. How can you get a home without a credit score, Dave? Have you ever talked about this in 30 years?
The best example I can think of is you. You did it.
Yes.
How did you do that, George?
I did it. Well, it's a fancy process called manual underwriting. It's very old-timey. They look at your real financial life, like your income.
Like to see if you can actually pay the payments and stuff.
Just like that.
Oh, man, that's wicked.
And you have to send in a few utility bills, say, hey, look, I pay things on time. I'm reliable. You can trust me. And then they go, okay, here's a mortgage. And a lot of people, I've got some flack because we did an episode on the credit score called The Dirty Truth Behind Your Credit Score. And one of the things
On the Fine Print Podcast.
On the Fine Print Podcast. And one of the things we attacked was this idea that you need a credit score to get a mortgage. And we talked to our friend Seth over at Churchill Mortgage, and he walked us through the process. And a lot of people are freaked out. They go, it's so difficult, and your interest rate's going to be so much higher.
No, it's not.
And I can tell you from someone who's done it that none of that is true.
It's not difficult, and your interest rate's not higher. Liar! You liar person, you.
That's right. So to Jim in Arizona, this idea that and he said it himself, but I need the debt to rebuild credit.
Well, he has believed the lie, and Jim's not the liar, but he believed the lie that's out there that people like that were giving you a hard time about the fine print thing because it's fine print podcast. Because here's the thing: the lie is that the great provider in your life is the great God FICO. And if you worship at the altar of the great God FICO and continue to bring him offerings of interest by paying payments on your debt repeatedly, he will raise his eyes to you.
Bestoweth upon you.
He will bestoweth upon you a greater score because you have earned your way. Talk about legalism. You've earned your way. There's no grace in this.
No.
You've earned your way into the great God FICO's presence by borrowing lots of money and paying it back. So we borrow money. Why? So we can pay payments. Why? So we can get a higher score. Why? So we can borrow money. Why? So we can pay payments. Why? So we can get a higher score. Why? So we can pay payments. So we can get more debt. So it's a dog chasing its tail, building banks with bank money. And they took it from you. It's not working.
No, this is like Sisyphus just pushing up the rock every day, trying to build his score back up. And here's the thing. It goes back to the gamification we talked about with credit card rewards. It feels good to have a good score. You feel like this is my scoreboard for my financial life. But the true scoreboard is not having debt and having a high net worth. Yeah. That's what it's about. And so to do that, Jim, here's what's going to happen. You're going to pay off your debt. And after probably 6 months or so, your credit score will become indeterminable.
Make sure you have no debt accounts of any kind open
Zero.
and active.
Close them all.
None. Active. They're all paid off. Even if you've got some old bad debt, go clean it up. All accounts are closed. And then your little 640 score will go poofy and disappear. And you will be a zero.
You'll be incredibly visible.
And George is a zero.
Yeah.
It's okay to be zero.
We talked about this in the
on the
podcast.
stupid score.
Your credit invisible, and
you want to get a zero on your stupid score.
Yes, and just like I was invisible to girls in high school, you will become invisible with your credit history. That's what's going to happen. You'll disappear. No one will see you in the credit world when they look up your account. Dave, that hurt. That one, you felt that.
And it's bad.
I know.
Bad. It's sad.
Fun. I'm married up now. I'm doing great. I'm doing much better, guys. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, well, you're just a regular sex symbol now.
That's right.
Oh, my gosh.
So,
unbelievable.
Back to Jim's question. Buddy, you don't need to rebuild your score. The 640 is going to go away after you've had no debt, your accounts are closed, and then you can work with a reputable mortgage company like Churchill Mortgage. There's others that do this. People act like they're just not out there.
You just can't get around without debt, son. Don't you know? Oh, I hate
don't
this.
Challenge me.
The culture talking down to you. Let me tell you what happened to me. 1988, I filed bankruptcy, right? I'm 28 years old. Dumber than a rock, obviously, because I filed bankruptcy because I was an idiot because I got too far in debt and I don't know what I'm doing. I got a finance degree, but I'm dumber than a rock. Doesn't work, right?
These days, you'd be a TikTok star, Dave.
So, well, there you go. I have no response to that. So, anyway, my bankruptcy attorney gave me financial advice. Now, this should give you pause to start with, right? But not me. I'm dumb enough I took it. He said, so you need to go, the first thing you need to do is you need to rebuild your credit after bankruptcy. Because a Chapter 7 bankruptcy just wipes you out, baby. I mean, your credit's just destroyed. All you got on there is all these negative things. And everything's going to be on there for 7 years, except your Chapter 7 bankruptcy, which is going to be on there 10 years. Oh, goody. He goes, so you need to build some positive credit immediately. And I'm like, so how do I do that? Who's going to loan a bankrupt fool money? Now, this is 1988. You know what he said, do? Go sign up for today's version would be online, but in those days it was analog. Go sign up and order and subscribe to every financial magazine. As soon as you do, you'll start getting pre-approved credit cards in your mailbox. Start using those, and you will rebuild your credit. And
what
you know
a life
what?
hack.
It completely worked.
Wow.
I got credit cards coming out my ears in about 6 months after filing bankruptcy. They came in just like taking candy from a baby. And it wasn't long after that I woke up and realized, wait a minute, I'm doing the same stupid butt stuff that got me here in the first place. And you're a dumb boy. You just do the same dumb thing over and over again. And so we had a little plastic surgery party, and I no longer take financial advice from bankruptcy attorneys, which who's dumb enough to do that to start with?
He wants you back in his office in a few years.
Apparently. I want to be in this, I'm going to be a regular customer.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Good stuff there.
But I mean, it's the same thing. It's the same lie that if you tell a lie loud enough, often enough, and long enough, it's called propaganda. And eventually the entire culture believes the lie, to where if you say the sky is blue, they say, no, it's not. You know, and if you say, don't jump off a building, you'll hit the sidewalk. No, law of gravity doesn't apply. But people believe this crap.
Yeah. I always say
my credit was ruined, so how do I fix my ruined credit? Go get more credit.
You got to get it. I tell people, Dave, if you follow the trends, you will fall for the traps. And the credit score is one of these trends.
Pithy.
Thank you. Took me a while to tweet that. But it's one of those things that the credit score has been this trend for so many years where we're telling 17, 18-year-olds, you got to build your credit. You got to build your credit. You're going to need it for the rest of your life.
Well,
stop.
Yeah, and the problem is the parents, they believe what they're saying because they're dumb too. I was that dumb person. I just told you my dumb story. Oh my God, we've all done dumb. So listen, if we just can't call stupid, we got a problem. Oh, wait a minute. We got a problem because now it's illegal to just say what.
You hurt my feelings, Dave.
You have them? See,
Not
there
anymore.
we go.
Not
There we go. I didn't know George had
You've
feelings.
depleted all of my feelings.
I thought we had a feelingectomy. This is the Ramsey Show. Thanks for joining us, America. We're glad you're here. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. This is the Ramsey Show. Stetson and Caroline are with us in Topeka, Kansas. Says on my screen, you guys are debt-free. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very cool. So how much debt have you paid off?
$92,000.
Wow. How long did that take?
It took us about 18 months.
Good for you. And your range of income during that time?
It started about $55,000 and went up to $75,000 with side hustles.
Wow, cool. What kind of debt was the $92,000?
It was a truck, a car, student loans, credit cards.
And we had attorney's fees, medical bills, and consolidation loan.
My God, y'all were normal. That wasn't no fun, was it?
No, not at all.
How long you been married? 10 years?
No, it'll be 4 in March.
Oh, you got with it. You mean you made a mess fast? Okay. or brought some in or something. Way to go. So what happened 18 months ago? Woke you up?
So really, it started when we got married. Caroline actually only brought about $10,000 of student loans into the marriage. I was left with about $255,000 in debt. That was, and half of it wasn't mortgage debt. I was 25 years old and contemplating bankruptcy. But really, when I was deployed in 2016, about 2 months after I came back, I was served with divorce papers from my ex-wife, and I wasn't expecting that. And while I was gone, she left me with an extra $80,000 in debt that I had almost no knowledge about. After we got divorced, there was a lot of co-signed debt that wasn't addressed that we were still trying to get resolved. And we were also trying to sell the house from being upside down on it in a military housing market. And that was a really hard thing for us to do. Really, the first 18 months of our marriage was trying to clean up everything from my previous marriage. And after selling the house and doing all that stuff, we were left with about $92,000 of debt that we couldn't manage.
Mm. And then you guys start on your journey now after that, finally. And your journey's $92,000. Wow. Okay. So how'd you get connected to us?
I actually had heard of you through The Minimalist. Like I said, I didn't have much debt, but they would kind of bring it up every once in a while. And the I had it moment was we had this brand new baby girl with lots of medical issues. She was on $50 fortified formula, and we were playing the credit card game of pay this off to use this, pay this off to use this. And there was one day we had $12 in our bank account and days away from payday. And we were basically left with she needed more than we had, so Stetson had to pawn a couple of his guns to get us to the next payday. Ooh. And it was just Googling and trying to find a solution. And after listening to some of your YouTube videos and rants, Stetson decided, I'm going to sell my truck, and that'll wrap up the majority of this debt, and it'll give us that bigger snowball to keep going.
Yeah, wow. So how much of the 92 was the truck sale?
It was $27,000.
Oh, wow.
But it gave us about $5,000 to start our snowball and get started on the baby steps.
Well, and you got rid of a $600 payment, too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think we did all the calculations, and with insurance and gas and all that stuff, it saved us about $1,000 a month.
Yeah, I'm sure. Oh, my gosh. Wow. That's a big move. Wow, I mean, it got real around there, didn't it?
Oh, yeah, definitely did.
How old are you two?
I'm 25.
And I'm 29.
Man, you guys have lived a lot of life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, thank you for your service, Stetson.
Yeah.
Well done, you two. I'm proud of you. Very, very cool. So this has been a struggle. I mean, a lot of emotion and a lot of things going on here. Selling the truck, putting the old debt from the former marriage in your rearview mirror. Now we've got enough in our dadgum windshield that we can't see out of it either. We get in attack mode, jump on Google, find the Ramsey Show, and here we go, right? So tell people what the key to getting out of debt is. You pay off $92,000 in 18 months, including the sale of a $27,000 pickup.
Yeah, so really what I think it was the constant communication of the budget, and something that really helped us out was the envelope system.
Okay. Yeah, that's a big deal. I mean, when you get down to just cash and you say, this is it, this is what we're doing, it makes it very, very easy to stay on track.
I mean, they were willing to do anything. You got rid of the truck. You got rid of the wife. You got rid of the guns. I mean, it's like a country song, man.
Yeah.
The first wife, the starter wife.
Yeah, you kept a good one. That's good news. Man, I'm so proud of you guys. Did you have any cheerleaders along the way in those 18 months?
Our parents were definitely probably our biggest supporters. We had developed a church family, which was another thing that let us know we were on the right path. I think after starting your program, we decided to find a church, and the first sermon we went to, our pastors had mentioned that they followed your program, and a day later we joined a small group, and they mentioned that they were doing the program.
Whoa. Were you like, is this a cult? What's going on here?
It's everywhere.
And then to finish our journey, we decided the last 3 months of our journey to lead FPU, and I'd say our co-leaders, Ryan and Lissa, definitely were the ones pushing us to finish. And then our best friends were along the journey with us, Joe and Jamie.
That's awesome. Underrated, having community in your corner, getting plugged in with a church and a small group, FPU, all of those pieces are so important. That's awesome.
A lot of transformation going on here. Well done, you guys. Very cool. Very powerful. So proud of you, heroes. Excellent, excellent job. Now that you're there, you don't have any payments. How's that feel?
It's amazing. Really freeing.
I mean, after all the stuff you guys have been through, wow. I mean, there's so much pain and trauma represented by this debt that's gone now.
Yeah, I think what made it more freeing was we had our daughter along with us. One of the things we did was Instacart for our side hustle, and she was in the cart with us every single time, helping us put stuff on the belt and just get ready for the next order that we had to do. So really just doing it for our kids, and we said we were going to do baby step two before baby number two, and we were able to do that as well. So just knowing we could do it for our kids and to change that generation was probably the most freeing experience.
Yeah, but you guys are knit together in a way with each other now, with this church, with this community, with God. The whole transformation package, you have changed your family tree. So proud of y'all. Well done. We got a copy of Baby Steps Millionaires, the book that will come out in January, but we're going to send you an early release edition just to celebrate with you, because we think that's your next chapter in your story to become Baby Steps Millionaires. You're on your way to do it. I think you will. Okay. And also send you a copy of the Total Money Makeover for you to give away to somebody. Probably somebody out there as scared as you guys were at one point. And you can lead them through like you found that in Financial Peace University as coordinators. By the way, thank you for coordinating the class as well. Stetson and Caroline, Topeka, Kansas, $92,000 paid off in 18 months, making $55,000 to $75,000. Sold the $27,000 truck to make that happen. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!
Yeah! This is how it's done.
Never gets old.
Man, I love it. I love it. Man, good times. Things are happening. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Go to RamseySolutions.com/events if you want to be at the January 13th Nashville event with George, Rachel, Cruz, and me talking about wealth building for 2022. You ready to build some wealth? We're going to show you how. Come to this live event here in Nashville. $15 is all it is. One night special event. Just a few tickets left. RamseySolutions.com/events. This is The Ramsey Show. George Camel, Ramsey Personalities, my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Caleb's in Oklahoma City. Hi, Caleb. What's up?
How are you guys doing today?
Better than we deserve. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. All right, so let's get on with my problem. I bought a car I thought I could afford back in July. I got it repoed yesterday, and I leave to go to the military next month, and I owe about $29,000. What should I do? Should I go and get it out of the repo and sell it, or should I just default the loan and pay the difference?
Wow. How old are you?
I'm 19 years old.
And you owe a $29,000 car loan?
Yes, sir.
What was your payment?
$685 a month.
Yeah. And what do you make?
I make a little over $2,000 a month.
That's painful.
Very.
So I'm happy to answer your question. Tell me what you learned from this experience.
I learned to ask for help when I need it, and don't buy materialistic things because you can. You can buy a cheap car, $15,000, and not have a payment on it. Now I'm worrying about the next step, what I have to do in order to get myself out of this bind that I put myself into.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody tell you not to buy this car?
Actually, everybody. But I went against everybody's word and said, you know what, I can do it. And here I am, couldn't do it.
Who told you not to buy it that you think you now can trust for advice on this type of thing?
My girlfriend, my girlfriend's dad, and both my parents.
Yeah, I'm going with your dad. Okay. So
yes.
One of the things you learn is that, you know, when there's a whole, the Bible says in the multitude of counsel, there is safety. And you had a multitude of counsel telling you not to do this. And so that's one of the lessons I learned, by the way, when I went broke, was that there is a time to go against what everybody, in quotes, says. And there's a time when everybody in your life that loves you is saying don't do this, that it needs to give you pause. And so nowadays I gather opinions, and I not only just what the opinion is. Okay, you say not to buy it. Now tell me why I shouldn't do this. And so I learn from the wisdom of these people around me, and sometimes I choose to discount it because they're telling me it doesn't make sense. Okay? But in your case, they would have said you can't afford it. A $600 payment on $2,000 is silly. A $30,000 car for 19 years old making $2,000 a month is out of control. I mean, these are the things they would have said to you if you'd ask why you're saying I shouldn't buy it. And then it would have led you away. So the trick is to not, it's horrible to go through this. It's much more horrible to go through it 2 times or 3 times because you didn't learn your lesson. That's why I wanted to ask you about that, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, here's what's going to happen. They're going to sell the car on a repo lot, and they're going to come after you for the difference. It's called the deficit balance. And so if they sold the car for, I'll just make up a number, $9,000, they're going to come after you for $20,000. If they sell it for $19,000, they're going to come after you for $10,000. You see what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir.
They will then settle that with you after they've been trying to collect from you and realize you are a broke young guy in the military that makes no money. They're going to realize they're not going to get that money from you. Most of the time, they don't get the deficit from the person. They can't get it out of them because the person's broke, thus their car got repoed, okay?
Yeah.
So they're kind of used to this, in other words, the people trying to collect from you. And so if you'll let it sit 6 months or more from the time they first contact you, talk to them and just go, I'm broke, I can't pay it. And then let them wallow around for about 6 months. They'll settle for somewhere around 25 cents on the dollar. So you've got about a year to save up 25% of what you think the deficit's going to be. What do you think the car's worth?
$23,000-ish. Okay. It's a 2018 Ford Mustang.
If it sells for $19,000, you'll be lucky on the repo lot. So you need $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 in an account to settle this with them, and then you will have a repoed car on your credit, and you will have a settled bad debt on your credit that you settled the deficit with them. Okay? And that will do the minimal amount of damage to your pocketbook and to your credit, and then you can begin to move forward. And from this point forward, if you want to be rich, pay cash for cars. Rich people don't take car payments out. And that's how they got rich.
Understood.
Okay. George, anything you want to add?
Well, it just reminded me of the verse, adults devise a plan and children do what feels good. And right now I'm talking to a kid, but you're about to go serve our country, enter the military. You're an adult. And so I just want you to start making adult decisions and do what's best for your financial future. So when you come back, you can't afford a $15,000 car, like you mentioned. You're going to save up and pay cash for maybe a $3,000 car and upgrade it over time, and you're going to stay out of debt. You're going to have an emergency fund so that you never have to deal with this again, so that you can build wealth, so that you can be a 25-year-old guy who's married with a family who leaves an incredible legacy. So I want you to start thinking about your future and the kind of man you want to be and the kind of future you want to have.
Yeah. Now, we've all done stupid stuff like this, Caleb, and so me included. I did it with zeros on the end, so we're not picking on you in that regard. The trick is to not. My goal in my life is don't do the same stupid thing twice. There's enough new stupid things to do without doing the same one twice. And so learn from it, right? Learn from it and don't go do the same one again. And this one is about debt and about buying things against the multitude of counsel. And, that takes you in the right direction. That's a sad story.
Yeah.
It's a harsh thing. Thank you for serving your country, too. We appreciate you.
I remember being 19 and thinking whatever people told me not to do, I wanted to do it even more.
I'm still that guy.
You love a challenge.
I make most of my living going against convention, right? The things we teach here are perpendicular to cultural norms and beliefs. That's not bad. But what is bad is when you have people of wisdom all around you saying, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. And you go, I'm doing it anyway. And man, hadn't we all done that? I've done that so many times, and every time it leaves a mark.
Yeah.
You don't do that, though.
Well, I haven't done stupid with as many zeros as you have.
No, few have. Very few.
You're impressive in that regard. But like you mentioned,
that was my goal to impress George today. That was it. I got up this morning. I said, I hope I can impress George today.
Oh, I bet. Looked in the mirror. That's what you said.
It's the first thing out of my mind.
But it's a good principle. Are you going to learn from this? What are you going to do after this is all over and you've cleaned this mess up? Are you going to make another mess?
Well, it is an interesting thing to think about. What is the difference between standing against a cultural norm that is universally dumb? Like everybody says you need a credit score. So do you go get a credit score? No, that's not what we're saying. But on the other hand, being able to take the input of wise people in the multitude of counsel their safety. So what you want to do is if you're taking counsel from other people, multitudes, in other words, you're going to get 4 or 5 people's input on a decision, ask them why they're saying, should I do this? No. Okay, why? And then line up their whys, and really what you're learning from is the whys. And if someone says you need a credit score, well, why? Well, because you need to be able to get into debt. Well, why? So you can get further into debt. Well, why? So you can get further into debt. Well, I'm not following that, okay? But if I get logical, good critical thinking skill answers back when I ask why, and they start to line up across several people, then I go, oh, well, this is starting to make sense then.
The whys will make you wise.
Yeah.
You see what I did there?
Ooh, I saw that. That's a nice twist.
Thank you.
Well played. George Camel, Ramsey personality. James Childs in the booth along with Kelly Daniel. I am Dave Ramsey, your host, and we'll be back. A friend or family member that needs a daily dose of Ramsey advice in their life? Let them know about the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast. It's a quick hit of advice about life and money in under 10 minutes. Check out the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. George Camel, Ramsey personality, is my co-host to you. Merry Christmas, America. We're so glad you're here. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Sonia's in Los Angeles. Hi, Sonia. How are you?
Hi, Dave and George. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Sure.
I'm here calling you for your advice. My husband, he is 63 years old and has a variable appreciable life insurance policy since 1988.
I'm sorry.
Face value is $85,000 and the net benefit is $126,000 right now. We have a net cash surrender value of $50,000 and a taxable gain of $46,000. Now, we have not, for the past 25 years, we have not paid out of pocket the premiums due to an ADR relief due to a class action lawsuit with Prudential 25 years ago. However, my question is twofold. One is, should we take the surrender value, pay the taxes on it, and invest it? And my second question is, I don't know if a variable appreciable insurance upon death will pay the net benefit, or will it just pay the face value of $85,000?
Depends on how that one's written. I don't know. It changes from there's what's called an A plan, a B plan. The B plan, you've paid extra premium, which you've not because of the lawsuit, but the higher premium essentially buys more insurance and gives you the illusion that you got the cash value, or you got the face value plus the benefit. So your face value plus your benefit takes you to 126, right?
Right, correct.
Yeah, and they're calling that your benefit, right?
Yes.
So I don't know. I can't tell from the information I've got from you whether that will pay out that or not. Here's the thing. You can keep investigating it and try to figure it out. If they are keeping the $50,000 upon your death, his death, and giving you $85,000, then in a sense you're paying $50,000 for $85,000 worth of insurance.
Correct.
So we wouldn't do that.
Right.
You would take even if it's taxable. And you said that they claim the tax basis or the taxable amount is $46,000?
That's what they're saying, yes.
That's highly unusual, too. Very seldom do these things make enough money that you get that much taxable benefit.
Yes.
But now the fact that you've not paid any premiums all these years might have gotten you there. I guess that's possible, but because your basis in one of these policies for tax purposes is the total of your premiums. And since you haven't paid premiums for years, maybe the thing has grown some actual taxable.
Yes.
And it's going to be taxable at ordinary, and it's taxable at ordinary income, not capital gain.
I see. Yeah, so it has gained quite a bit over the past few years. I mean, it used to be like $6,000, but the policy is being, it's being repaid by what it makes because it has a policy adjustment repayment of $6,600, and that's per year. So, I mean, they are getting their premiums anyway.
Oh, they're taking it out of your cash value?
Oh, yes.
Oh, I thought they weren't being charged because of the lawsuit.
You know what? We did too, but they are. I keep seeing this policy adjustment repayment of $6,600 every single year.
Well, then you're going to be completely out of money in less than 10 years.
Well, what has happened over the past few years is since the return has been better, that's why it's building up this cash surrender value.
They're doing some kind of math games there because that's not happening. 50,000 is not growing 6,000 in one of these policies. It might be growing 1,000 or 2,000, but it's not growing 6,000.
So you see, it's very confusing for me and for my husband.
Here's a good rule of thumb. If you jump in a barrel of rattlesnakes, you're going to get bit by a rattlesnake, and that's what this thing is. It's a barrel of rattlesnakes, and part of the problem is they are so good at the math gyrations to where it's sometimes hard to figure out where they're screwing you, but it's just who they are. They're just going to screw you if they possibly can. It's how those products are designed. They're just horrible financial products. So all of that said, I'm 99% sure I would get out of this thing, mainly because of that, and just pay whatever taxes there are and just be done with it. If you need some life insurance and he's insurable, go get that in place before you cancel this. But I think you're probably paying $50,000 for $85,000 worth of life insurance, and I think that's a bad buy, and that would be classic Prudential, because they really do suck. I mean, they're on the top list of sucky companies. I mean, it's just, wow, unbelievable. Man. This whole life thing, George, it is the payday lender of the middle class. They have taken advantage of the middle class. They don't prey on the poor. They prey on the middle class. And a few upper class people buy whole life policies and walk around strutting around like they're smart or something. But most people now have started to understand that have financial advisors, real financial advisors, not insurance agents,
who sell it.
That this stuff sucks.
Yeah.
Life insurance is not where you build wealth. It is a defensive posture like car insurance against your premature death before you have built wealth. That's all it is. And so only buy term insurance and only do your investing anywhere except inside one of these stupid butt policies. They're just horrible.
Yeah, you talk about this in Financial Peace University. If it's trying to be two things at once, it's not a good product. You can't have insurance and investment at the same time and do it really well.
I'll tell you where else is showing up. Long-term care policies are now adding in a whole life policy in the middle of them.
To make extra money on top?
And so you can build a cash value inside your long-term care policy, your nursing home insurance. And so, again, all they're doing is trying to make more money on the long-term care policy by wrapping these things together. Anytime they bundle these types of things together, investing in with your insurance, run. And
it sounds like they're preying on the vulnerable, elderly folks who are going, I'm scared, I need to make sure that I'm protected here.
Well, that would be, everybody's trying to figure out a way to, not feel ripped off on the nursing home scene, right? I don't want to feel ripped off by the long-term care insurance. I don't want to feel ripped off by the nursing home. I don't want my savings plundered in order to take care of me in my old age. And so everybody's trying to figure this out. And in the midst of it, ta-da, here's a whole new way to invest inside your long-term care policy. Oh, just shoot me and get it over with. Oh,
it's so confusing. It's almost like they do it on purpose.
Oh, shocking. You think?
It's amazing.
One more good observation from George Camel.
I'm sharp.
You've been full of those today.
This is why you hired me, Dave.
This is it. Yeah, this is why you get the big bucks. Open phones today. It's a good thing. Right here on the Ramsey Show, the phone number is 888-825-5225.
If you're considering a career in technology, I recommend Bethel Tech, and I'm not alone. Here's what Brendan said. Before Bethel Tech, I was driving Uber. Within 4 months of graduating, I got a job paying $60,000. About 2 years after that, I got a remote job that pays me $130,000, all thanks to what I learned at Bethel Tech. You could be next. Get started today at BethelTech.net and get $1,000 to $2,500 off of your tuition. Again, it's BethelTech.net/Ken Coleman.
George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Thank you for joining us, America. So one of the things that happens when you teach what we teach, stuff like we teach people to get out of debt. And then there are people that come along and say, hey, I want to get out of debt. And then there are people who come along and are dream killers and just step on those dreams and say, you're stupid. What kind of a person would want to get out of debt? Nobody can get out of debt. And sometimes it's your parents. Sometimes it's your loser friends. Sometimes it's a loser professor. But sometimes it's just a loser. And, because they're dream killers. So, if somebody comes to me and says, hey, I want to start a business, and I think it's a stupid idea, the first thing I tell them is, I think you should start a business. And I think that's a great goal. Let's put some boundaries on that so that you do it in a way that doesn't destroy you. Because I'm looking at this guy going, this is not going to work, right? But I'm not going to be a dream killer. There's a lot of stuff I do, but a lot of people I bust up on, but dream killing is not one thing I do. And George, you are really big on lifting people's dreams up.
I really try.
And so when you found this clip, you brought it in here. You don't see George upset very often, but George was not happy.
I was riled up, to say the least, to put it politely.
Yeah, that just riled up. Just riled up.
It's easy to rile you up, but it takes a little bit more for me, Dave. And
I kind of stay riled up.
Yeah.
But you don't get riled up, but this riled you up.
And you don't want to mess with me because I'm scrappy and I'm fast. And I got nothing to lose. That's a dangerous man right there. And so we found this clip, Dave.
This is unbelievable.
This is crazy because this is on national television, and it was a very popular show. I don't know if it still is, but it's out there. Family Feud, long-running show. And as you know, there's different families. They feud against each other, hence the name Family Feud.
I haven't watched it since Richard Dawson was the host.
Wow. What was that, the 60s? When was that?
I think he's dead now. And there's a new guy hosting it, right?
Yes, Steve Harvey.
Oh, yeah.
You know him. So Steve Harvey's hosting this show, and one of the contestants that's a part of this family, the question was all about a milestone that you'd love to achieve.
Let's play the clip.
Let's play it. Play that, James.
Give me a milestone people achieve they can be proud of.
Well, one day, I would like to have no debt.
Yes. That's not going to happen. Debt is okay. OPM, other people's money, is how you get rich. You use other people's money, not yours. That's how you get rich.
Dave, I want to punch something, and you're the closest thing next to me, and so I'm going to refrain.
You know, here's the thing. If you're a game show host, that's cool. But you probably ought to just, host the game show and not give out financial advice, for one thing. The second thing you shouldn't do is give out financial advice if you're $25 million in debt to the IRS.
You just airing out some laundry here, Dave?
I'm just saying, when you Google Steve Harvey, you find out he's $25 million in debt to the IRS. So if you're $25 million in debt to the IRS, when it comes to money advice, you should shut up. You really should not open your yap. And on top of that, be a dream killer for a young guy.
Yeah.
That's what gets you on this show. I mean, if you want to just be stupid and $25 million in debt to the IRS and have your little game show, that's fine. But when you're a dream killer and you rile George up, that'll get you on this show.
Listen, here's the thing. Steve Harvey is a celebrity. He's a media mogul. He makes his money in a lot of ways. This young guy...
Being funny.
Yeah.
Is where he makes his money. So try that.
But to dole
more
out
often, and you won't be $25 million in debt.
This idea that this guy's debt is a bad thing to pay off because it's other people's money, and therefore it's good debt. And this is how you build wealth.
It just occurred to me. Steve Harvey is using other people's money. Mine.
Your money.
And yours. We're taxpayers. He hasn't paid his tax bill. $25 million worth. He is using OPM.
There you are. Dave figured it out. You're a detective.
Followed his own advice.
This is crazy.
Hey, he's living the dream. Use OPM. Let's use the taxpayers' money. Let's don't pay our taxes. $25 million in debt.
I would love to see Steve host a financial show and they call and say, Steve, I'd love to pay off my debt. Can you tell me how? And he goes, well, you got to get more debt, man. You're doing great. Keep it up. You're not quite there yet.
I can free up some cash flow for you. Don't pay your taxes.
That's one way to do it. Not a way I'd recommend.
Hey, listen, Steve, we would have left you alone, brother, but you know what happened? You stepped on a young man's dream, and you walked over into our garden when you did it, and so a pruning is in order. So that's what you're experiencing, young man. Stay in your lane, brother, and you'll be okay with us. We love you. We think you're funny. We think you're a great guy. Don't be a dream killer, though.
Yeah. And if that contestant is listening, I want you to call us up because we will actually help you.
Actually, we'll give them a free subscription for a year to Ramsey Plus so they can get into Financial Peace University and we'll get them out of debt.
I will personally...
We're quite the opposite of a dream killer.
Yeah. I want to see that
We're like
dream
a Make-A-Wish Foundation. We're on the other side of dream killer.
If anyone contacts me and I'm their one Make-A-Wish, they've led a sad life, Dave. Hopefully they have bigger dreams than that.
I wasn't saying you were the Make-A-Wish. I said we're going to let them make a wish when it comes to being wealthy. We're going to help them get there.
Oh, okay. That's different.
George, it was not personal.
I thought you meant their wish would be to hang out with me.
Well, it could be. It could happen.
Thanks, Dave.
We can aspire to that.
Dave's not a dream killer.
I'm not a dream. I'm going to let you live your dream, George.
But hey, listen, if you're out there listening, you're part of the Skeepers family that was on the Family Feud, hit me up. I will personally financially coach you because our friend Steve didn't do a good job of that.
Well, yeah. Condescending dream killer.
Man.
Well, ain't going to happen.
Not going to happen. Sounds a lot like Eeyore.
OPM, other people's money. Use the taxpayers' money.
Gosh. Now, Dave, I think what he's referring to here...
You know, if Steve calls us up, we'll help him with his tax debt.
We'll
show him how to pay it off. We'll give him a debt snowball with the IRS going.
I'll give him a free membership to Ramsey Plus. How's that?
You'll give him a debt snowball because then, you know... he would actually help the general deficit with $25 million being repaid.
That is true.
Because the deficit...
I think he's repaid. I've got the article here.
Did he repay it?
It sounds like he
worked his way out of it. Look at that.
He had a few big deals come through.
Oh, wow.
A few big deals came through, and
so he's not the cause of the current deficit, just the past deficit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he's using that OPM principle pretty well, though.
Well, what it comes down to is he's saying you've got to leverage as much debt as possible, and that is the key to wealth building.
Yeah.
Which is the antithesis to how you now.
How long is that clip, James? You know, off the top of your head?
30 seconds.
Roll it one more time. I want to see it one more time. It's just
Give me a milestone people achieve they can be proud of.
Well, one day, I would like to have no debt.
Yes.
No debt, no debt.
That's not going to happen.
Yes, it is.
Debt is okay.
It's opposite day.
OPM, other people's money, is how you get rich. You use other people's money, not yours. That's how you get rich.
Federal government's other people's money.
I love the lady in the background looking around going, is he serious right now? Did he really just say that?
What?
Oh, man.
They expect me to run out with like a rubber club or something and start hitting him out of the side of the, oh my gosh.
Oh boy. Well, that was fun.
He did get that though. He made the show. 22 million listeners. So we just upped his ratings. Does he still do that show?
I think so.
Is that show still on?
Yeah.
I don't have my television's never on except like, appointments, something. I don't watch
football games.
Football. I do watch football.
That's it.
Yeah, that's about it. But the occasional thing Sharon makes me watch, and then football. But yeah, because I'm just firmly convinced the news has completely lost all their minds. So yeah, and
so has Family Feud. Who thought? A friendly game show.
I bet is what's the other one? The Wheel of Fortune. Is that still on?
That's still going.
Big Pat Sajak.
Pat Sajak, he's still alive. He looks great.
Pat Sajak was a weatherman here in Nashville.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Before he did that, he was here back when I was a kid.
There's your fun fact for the day.
That's how old Pat is. Love you, Pat. This is the Ramsey Show.
If you're ready to get out there and find a job you love, then you need to hear this. Job hunting can be stressful and time-consuming, but my friends at ZipRecruiter have made the whole job search way easier. ZipRecruiter is rated the #1 job site in the U.S. by G2, and it's free. So how does it work? First, go to ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. Then create a free profile and let their technology do the hard work by finding and sending you jobs that are a great fit. And get this, ZipRecruiter pitches your profile to companies whose jobs match your skills and experience. If someone from that company likes your profile, they can personally invite you to apply for the job. So if you're ready for an easier job search, check out ZipRecruiter. Sign up for free right now at ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. That's ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. Sign up today, absolutely free, and let ZipRecruiter work for you.
In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, Misty and Josh are with us. Hey, guys, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, thank you.
Hey, man, I'm so proud of you guys. You're debt-free. Where are you guys from?
Arkansas.
Little Rock.
Very cool. Yep. How much debt did you pay off?
$74,000.
All right. How long did this take you?
About 9 months.
Good. And your range of income during that time?
About 128 to, depending on how much he closes this year, 185 to 200.
Whoa. What do y'all do for a living?
I sell real estate.
Oh, that's what you meant by see how much you close. Okay.
And I've got a web development company.
Great. Okay. All right. Cool. So what kind of debt was the $74,000?
We had, biggest part was credit cards. We had about $42,000 worth of credit card debt. We had had to buy an RV, so we had about $12,000 in for the RV.
That's mandatory.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We like to travel.
We had a baby born, and we decided we had to go travel with an RV, so we had to buy one with that. So
that makes
and it had to fit both our girls and our dogs. So
there you go. And it had to have debt. Okay, I got it. It's a lot of hats. All right. And so, but what happened about 12 months ago, where you said no more?
So our best friend Scotty and Nikki actually had told us about financial peace and told us a little bit about this debt snowball. So Josh came home and told me about it. We kind of started that process just a little bit.
Yeah, I talked to Scotty just long enough to know about the snowball and nothing else. So that's the only part we got into. So we started out a little slow because we didn't hear the whole thing. But yeah.
So kind of what happened at that point, we started paying off some debt. We decided to have a baby, had lots of medical problems. My oldest, they're actually 20 years apart. So, we wanted to kind of start all over and have one together. So that brought on a lot of medical. Then my in-laws actually asked me to come work to do real estate with them. So I was in education prior to that. Mm-hmm. And switching over to real estate, I went from having a solid amount of money every month to nothing for a little while until I got started.
Mm-hmm. And now she's evolved into a rock star realtor. She's awesome.
Oh, great.
Hold on. Are you one of our ELPs?
I am.
Right.
Rock star.
There we go.
Thank you.
That's how it's done.
Kind of what happened to spur the change, though, is after that, we went on a vacation in that said camper that we couldn't afford. We were financing the vacation. We got to our oldest daughter's house here in Nashville, Tennessee, actually. And his brakes went out in the vehicle.
And it's his brakes.
It's his.
When it breaks, it's like your dog peed in the floor. Yeah. His brakes on his camper that he bought that I ride in. Yeah. I like this. It's well played.
So the brakes went out on the truck.
And we basically had to max out the rest of our credit card to finance fixing the brakes.
Right.
Hold on. There's $42,000 on this credit card.
Yeah.
Yes.
What else was on there?
Two credit cards.
Yeah. Well, let's see.
Some
medical bills. Yeah, medical bills. We paid a lot of bills.
For my business, I had to buy a new Apple computer, of course, and so that was on there. And
we just kept finding things that we thought we had to have. And then after that trip, we stopped in Nashville to get all that fixed, and Josh said, I don't know whether we should continue on our vacation because we were headed to South Florida. And I was like, well, of course we got to go to Florida.
We had no money.
Yeah, we had zero money. So we did our trip and got back, and he said, I'm not living like this anymore.
The most stressful trip I've ever been on.
Right. So we talked more to Scotty and Nikki. We went through Financial Peace University. We started being Gazelle Intense. And here we are. So
I got the whole picture then and started implementing the whole thing, and then it started working.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Way to go, you guys. Way to go.
It sounds like you guys were living the high life, and then you realized the high life looks a lot like the edge of a cliff.
Yeah,
right?
Well, yeah, and we also realized that you can't outspend stupid. We've had a good run with my business doing well and her business doing well, and we kept thinking, when we double our income, then we'll be doing, better. But then we just got more toys and stuff like that, and can't outspend stupid.
Yeah,
so.
You can't out-earn it, you mean. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, and we sold the camper.
Yeah,
we sold the camper to pay off debt, too.
How much did it sell for?
About $12,000.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Yeah. So it about paid itself off?
Yeah.
It did.
It did.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. That's good. Good. And somebody out there, be careful of those brakes. Oh, my God.
It was the brakes on the truck that was carrying the camper.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was okay.
The camper brakes were actually good, so I was using like the little electronic brake to stop the whole truck and everything by the time I got to Nashville. That's how bad it was. Yeah.
This is impressive.
It's scary.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty redneck. I respect it. So you guys had to have all this stuff, and then you decided, no, you know what? We have to be debt free.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Right.
It's a big mindset shift.
What do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is now that you've done it?
Well, he's the nerd. I'm the free spirit. So after he kind of taught me the error of my ways, I would say budgeting.
The budget committee meeting every month has been great because before we just had money in the bank, and when she wanted something, she would ask me, and all I had to look at was the number in the bank. And and so the budget committee meeting, I'm the nerd, but every month she brings a calendar with everybody's birthdays coming up and hair appointments and stuff like that. So it works really well, and we know, we're exactly on the same page every month.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
incredible.
That's how you do it. And then you can spend without guilt.
There you go. Absolutely. It's very freeing. Yeah.
Yeah. Like Rachel talks about, it's a spending plan.
Yes. That sounds a lot better.
I like the way she thinks.
Not restrictive. Well, look at you guys now making $200K, no debt. How does that feel?
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's
pretty
so freeing. Very freeing. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, congratulations, heroes. Proud of you, and welcome to the ELP program as
Thank
well.
you.
We're honored to endorse somebody that thinks like you all for real estate. And so, if you need a good real estate agent in the Little Rock area, Misty's out there. There you go.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Very, very, very cool. So, who were your biggest cheerleaders? Your friends, I guess, that talked you into this, right?
Absolutely. They actually went through it. They've paid their house off.
Yeah, they paid their house off just recently.
Wow.
But every time we made progress, we text them, and they were always,
They cheered us on through everything, even the hard times when we were like, man, this is a little intimidating with the amount of debt we have, and they're like, you can do it, keep going, and then they celebrated with us when we got everything paid off. So
cool. And you brought the kiddos with you. What are their names and ages? Let's get them in the shot.
Chastity is 24. She's actually a singer here in Nashville. She's lived here for 2 years now.
All
and
right.
This is Kaya. And she is, how old, Kaya?
4.
She's 4.
All right. Big girl. Very cool. That's fun, y'all. Well done. Well, we've got a copy of Baby Steps Millionaires for you. It's an early release copy. The book comes out January the 11th, How Ordinary People Built Extraordinary Wealth. How you can too, because that's the next chapter in your story. You'll be millionaires now. And you're
Looking
on your
forward
way.
to it.
You are on your way. You're heading that way very, very, very quickly. Very well done. And a copy of Total Money Makeover, you can give it away to one of your clients or something that comes through an ELP lead or whoever else you see out there that needs to know how to do the whole thing, not just the debt snowball, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's important. Yep. Yeah, very well done. All right, Misty and Josh, Chastity and Kaya, Little Rock, Arkansas, $74,000 paid off in 9 months, making $128 to $185. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1.
We're debt free.
And the crowd goes wild.
That's how it works right there. Well done, boys and girls. Well done. That's fun.
This is cool. It's amazing that you can just decide to not do stupid anymore.
It's just a decision. It's just a decision.
It starts there.
The act of the making something an intentional thing. I'm going to do this. I'm going to pay attention to my marriage. I'm going to pay attention to my money. I'm going to pay attention to my physical fitness, my mental health. I'm going to pay attention to my career. As soon as you start paying attention to it, it starts getting better.
It's incredible.
Because no one does stupid, like, let's go do something stupid. Very few. I know a couple that do that, but not many. Most people are like, once I start paying attention, I can clean it up.
It's hard work, but it's simple.
It's just a matter of intellectual intensity. This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, 2 Peter 3:9. The Lord is not slow in keeping his promise, as some understand slowness. Instead, he is patient with you, not wanting anyone to perish, but everyone to come to repentance. Norman Vincent Peale said, promises are like crying babies in a theater. They should be carried out at once.
I like that.
That's very good. Oh, open phones this hour. This is the Ramsey Show. George Camel is my co-host today, Ramsey personality. If you've had it with living paycheck to paycheck, you're sick and tired of constantly worrying about money, we want you to know you don't have to live like that anymore. Get into Financial Peace University. We'll show you how almost 10 million people now have taken control of their money one step at a time. And you'll learn how to make a budget that actually works, get out of debt, become wealthy, pay off an average of $5,300 in debt and saves $2,700 in the first 90 days. That's the average person going through the class. That's an $8,000 change in just 90 days. Good return on investment. Financial Peace University is only available through a Ramsey Plus membership. Get started today or gift it to someone you know by visiting RamseySolutions.com/FPU. RamseySolutions.com/FPU. Mackenzie is in Indianapolis. Hi, Mackenzie. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So question for you, a little backstory. My husband is deployed right now, and I am living with my parents while he's gone so we can save money and then look for a house when he gets back. My question is, we don't have any debt. My question is, he had stumbled upon, I don't know if it was a video or what it was, but something that has to do with if you put zero down because you could do a VA loan. I know you don't like those. So my question about it is, he said that, if you put zero down and you do the VA loan, if we put our 20% into the first month of our mortgage towards the main principal, that over the entire time we're paying on it, the interest would be cut significantly.
No, that's not true.
Versus
that's not true.
That's not.
That's not how it works.
Okay.
Regardless of if it's a VA loan or any other loan. Okay.
Okay.
The interest is charged on the outstanding balance. Okay. Let's say you had a $200,000 house and you could put down $40,000, but you didn't. So you have a $200,000 loan. And you put down $40,000 as additional principal the first day you move in, like his stupid video told him to do, okay, which is a complete scam. Stay away from those people.
Yeah.
But you're then charged interest on the $160,000, per month,
right,
outstanding, and every month you are charged a little less interest because you pay down the principal a little bit. Okay. That makes sense? Every month, regardless of what is going on, you are charged interest on the outstanding balance that month. So if you put down $40,000 2 days after you close the house and move in, like his stupid video suggests, now you have $160,000. If you pay the same large payment that was based on $200,000, you're going to have you're going to pay interest only on the $160,000. If instead you just put down $40,000 on the house as a down payment and you have a $160,000 mortgage, you're charged interest the first month. Ta-da! Exactly the same on $160,000.
Okay.
The only difference is your payment will be smaller because it was calculated on 160 from the start rather than on 200 from the start. So to have exactly the same effect, you'd pay a payment as if you did the normal way. You bought the house, put 40 down, had a $160,000 mortgage. Calculate what the payment would have been on $200,000 and pay that payment. You'll obviously pay the house off earlier. No kidding.
Right.
Which will save you interest because you paid the house off earlier because you're not in debt. But there's nothing magic about waiting until after the closing to make your down payment. That's just ridiculous. Okay. And that crap's out there. People are always trying to hack something that's not hackable. And basically, you either owe the money or you don't, and the interest is charged on the amount of money that you owe every month, regardless of how you got there. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah, and that's why I called, because I was not completely sold on it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to see if I can't ask.
I'm glad you got through. That's a good question. So, George, if you had a 6% interest rate or a 3% interest rate, okay, that's a quarter of that's 0.25 a month. 3 divided by 12, okay, would be 0.25 or 0.025. 0.025 is what it comes out. And so that is you take that the interest rate per month, your annualized interest rate divided by 12. And that per month is how much of your payment that month is going to interest. And so If your balance is smaller, the amount going to interest is smaller, and the amount going to principal is greater. So anytime you pay down a mortgage, you're sliding down that amortization schedule to a different position to where, again, that math lines up. It's calculated as simple interest.
Yeah, and as we've been paying off the house, I love looking at those numbers and going, oh my gosh, instead of $500 going towards interest, now there's only $25 going towards interest as you start to pay it down, and the rest is going to principal.
Yeah, because your payment stays the same, but the interest charged is only the monthly rate of interest on the amount, the annual rate divided by 12 on the outstanding balance. And whatever the rest of if your payment stays the same, more and more goes towards principal. And it's fun to watch that.
Yeah. And again, there's no hacks around this. The interest is the interest. And knowing the math, even though it's nerdy, really helps.
Yeah, it keeps you from falling into this stuff. Kyle is with us in Washington. Hi, Kyle. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Well, got a family issue I'm looking for a little outside perspective on. Long story short, I have a house mortgage, but I'm debt-free other than that. My dad had a house and didn't pay his property taxes. It got foreclosed on. Some guy came in and bought it. My dad didn't even know until the guy showed up on his front steps and said, I just bought this house. My uncle ended up buying that house back for my dad, and they had a deal. He was paying him back every month, but my uncle owned it outright. Since then, my uncle ended up giving that house to me because he had cancer and he's passed away.
Is there a mortgage on the house?
No.
Okay, so your uncle paid cash for the house, gave it to your dad. Your dad died. Now your uncle's giving it to you.
He never titled the house to my dad.
I got you.
He was just...
He let him stay
my
there.
dad was paying him rent.
Let him stay in his house. Okay.
So then now it's between me and my dad, and he is supposed to be paying me the essentially just the cost, the property taxes and the insurance. And it's up until now, it's been barely making the payments, but now we're finally 2 months late on payments, and I'm just feeling myself in a horrible moral situation where I technically own this house, and I know as a landlord, you don't let that stuff slide, but, it's
how
my
much
dad's
are the
house.
taxes
I
and
didn't buy
insurance?
It's practically nothing. $500, $600 a month.
$6,000 a year. What do you make a year?
About 80.
That's not nothing. That's almost 10% of your income.
Yeah.
So why didn't your dad paying the bill?
Same reason he lost the house in the first place. He's not too good at managing.
How old is he?
Born in the 60s. I don't even know.
Okay. It's time for a 50-something-year-old man to grow up.
I know.
Yeah, I think you need to sit down and talk to him, brother. I mean, this is not okay. I think you need to sit down and say that. You're putting me in a tough situation here. $6,000 is a lot of money at my house. All you got to do is pay the taxes and insurance, and you got to pay that, or we're going to have to figure out something else. I mean, I don't think that's being unreasonable. You can have a kind conversation. You don't have to be mean to him. But you just walking along tolerating this, acting like it's not happening, is not helping anybody. You need to say these things out loud, brother. That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.
Show every week, and a lot of those people listen on one of our 600-plus radio stations across the country. To find a station near you, head to theramseyshow.com.